All right, welcome to the weekly wrap up for Matchday 21, the Premier League, which brought us a very fascinating couple of games for us. Obviously, I'm using that in a very loose term, fascinating, because it was a pretty crappy week when it comes to the Premier League. There were really no good matchups, a lot of top six teams playing some really low level competition that should have been routes, yet produced very few goals, surprisingly enough. Congratulations, Chelsea. You can score goals. I'm glad to see that. But we're going to start off with Watford versus Swansea City, which this game, no way of guessing how this was going to turn out. I mean, Swansea City, A, won a game, which that's a shock in its own right. And B, they beat Watford, who are like a top 10 team. Well, I mean, now they're 10th in the table, but they are like a really good side. In Swansea City pulled a win out of their butt. I think they scored in the 85th and like the 89th minute of this game. It was absolutely bonkers. This game was an absolute gem to watch. Actually, surprisingly enough, it looked like an awful game. Like, oh, who wants to watch Watford and Swansea? But it was goals in the 86th minute and the 90th minute by Ayew and Narsing. So absolutely fantastic contest, which resulted in a pretty good game and a fantastic win for Swansea, which they absolutely needed. And let's see if this is just going to be a boost from the new manager in Carvajal, or if this actually Swansea team can get out of 20th place. Now, Huddersfield versus Burnley. Now, this is going to start a little trend, which I like to call the goalless draw trend, of which there were way too many this week. Surprisingly enough, because there were some pretty lopsided games that really did end the way we thought they would, or the way we hoped they would, which would be in a ton of goals and some spectacular moments. I'm not going to spend more time on that game. That was a disappointment for all, including Burnley. Bournemouth and Everton. Like I said, we did a couple pretty exciting games this week. Bournemouth pulling out an 88th minute winner with Ryan Fraser. I mean, the guy, he's 5 foot nothing, and somehow scored a brace against a surging Everton team who are reverting back to their, early season form. Let's say that. Losing away at Bournemouth 2-1. It's great to see, though, because all 10 people at Dean Court got to their feet and celebrated when Ryan Fraser scored. So it's fantastic to see the 10 people in Bournemouth get some joy in their lives in that very wonderful town. So Newcastle, Brighton, once again, a 0-0 draw. Unfortunate. You really hate to see that. Good point for Newcastle, but bad point for Brighton, who I feel are going to stay up this season, but can't be dropping points to Newcastle. I'm sorry, you can't be doing it. Liverpool 2, Leicester City 1. In what looked like a moment of regret from Virgil van Dijk, who was able to watch the games from the stands. Obviously, his transfer isn't official until, midnight tonight, 2018. So he had to watch the defense of Liverpool, which we also like to refer to as a comedy act or a absolute joke or I could play better than Ronald Klavan than he can at soccer or football, whatever you call it. Any of those terms, any of those sentences work because I think anyone I've ever talked to is a better defender. So I'm not sure if he's going to be regretting it or thinking that it doesn't matter how crappy he does, he'll be doing better than Klavan or Lovren or really anyone in the Liverpool defense. So they basically just gifted the ball to Mahrez, who slid it across the net, and Matip tried to tackle Vardy from behind because he somehow thought that's how you get the balls by... You have to watch it. It was interesting defending. And then Mohamed Salah decided to start playing football, scored a brace, won the game, increased his lead in the Golden Boot contest, and carried Liverpool to 3 points. I mean, at this point, basically, they should just change their name to Mohamed Salah FC, but they probably shouldn't do that because if Salah doesn't leave this window, I'd say there's probably a pretty good chance he doesn't stay at Liverpool for more of the season because if he keeps up this form, there's going to be a $125 million transfer from Real Madrid probably coming in soon because they got to replace a little hole in their roster called Gareth Bale. So I won't be surprised that happens either this window or the next window. Chelsea 5, Stoke absolutely nothing. In what I called the one exciting game of the week, Chelsea threw down 5 goals in Stoke City, a team which right now is 15th in the table, and you think, all right, they got enough players to stay up, but man, have they been hammered. I mean, this is the same Stoke City team that lost 7-2 to Man City, which, yeah, Man City are in incredible form, but still, conceding 7 goals when you're a Premier League team to another Premier League team, it's not a good look. I mean, look at Arsenal only conceded, 4 or 5 goals in a game of Bayern. Like, if Arsenal in the Champions League last year only conceded 5, surely Stoke City can keep Chelsea to less than 5. Or City to less than 7. That's just, it's not a good look. I don't see how they can possibly stay up if they keep up this form. Surprisingly, I think they're going to be one of the ones that go down. I know it's a bit of a bold statement to make, but that's what we do here at Technically Offsides. We make bold statements. But, yeah, right now they're only 2 points clear of the drop zone, and they look bad. I mean, they look like Mike Dean bad, and that's probably insulting to Mike Dean. All right, United 0, Southampton 0. Another 0-0 draw. A game that United absolutely should have won. Their one really clear-cut chance was going in the goal, and Pogba decided in his brilliance to try to tap it in, and when he tapped it in, he was offside, so he turned a perfectly legal onside goal into one that was clearly offside. So good work to Pogba. He decided to move up from his 35 yards behind the attacking play and actually try to score a goal and screwed it up for United. Shout out to him. Great work there. And just for the record, just because you have 11 players wearing the Man United jersey doesn't mean they're a team. They look like a bunch of schoolboys who just threw on a jersey. A bunch of skilled schoolboys, let me tell you. But they doesn't look like they've trained together once in their entire lives. Yeah, so it was a 0-0 draw, and Southampton, Sans, Virgil van Dijk actually looked fairly decent. But they made United drop 2 more points at the fortress formerly known as Old Trafford, and now they're in 3rd place. So they're going to be looking a little bit further up at City coming up. And speaking of Manchester City, oh dear, they drew to Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park. It's a bit of a shame because City's 18-game win streak came to an end, which if they had won this game against Crystal Palace, they would have extended that to 19 and tied the European record. So rather unfortunate to see a cool streak like that end. But the bigger talking point in this game is that Crystal Palace tried to kill a couple Manchester City players and succeeded in getting Kevin De Bruyne and Gabriel Jesus injured and both stretchered off. Jesus wasn't stretchered off because I think it was more of a knee thing. He could walk off, but De Bruyne did get stretchered off. So the Premier League player of the season, Kevin De Bruyne, got stretchered off, which you hate to see. And I really think Crystal, it was actually Punchin who made an absolutely nasty tackle that should have been a red card, but because he was given a yellow, he can't be retrospectively banned. Yada, yada, yada. Not to bury the lead or anything, but 2 Palace players as well, Scott Dan and Jason Punchin, who actually injured himself on that horrific tackle that should have got him arrested by the London Police Department. They should have arrested him immediately, but both those players also got stretchered off. So this game saw, well, technically anything times 0 is infinity. So let's just say 4 more injuries than were goals today, and it looks like some 4 pretty serious injuries as well. So and can't forget that there was the softest penalty in the world ever given. Raheem Sterling decided to teach Zaha how to dive, and Zaha took the opportunity, won a penalty, which was ultimately saved by the feet of Ederson, which we all know is Ederson's strongest feature is his feet. So he made that save, and ultimately it looks like we're going to welcome Alexis Sanchez Man City, because without David Silva for foreseeable futures, he's dealing with family issues. Hope everything's better there. De Bruyne and Jesus, they're kind of a little thin in that position now. And to wrap it up, we have yet another draw. Hooray! West Brom 1, Arsenal 1. This match featured a fantastic crap goal, which was a Alexis Sanchez free kick, which just deflected off a West Brom player and into the net. It trundled in there. Really quality goal by Man City's Alexis Sanchez. And then yet another penalty kick given for, you tell me, I don't know what it was given for, but apparently it was a handball. But, what can you do when you have the match winner, Mike Dean, refereeing the game? The guy just loves to take the spotlight. Gave a handball for, I don't know, owning hands, I guess, and Arsenal ended up drawing with West Brom 1-1. So cool, I guess. And then, unfortunately, the Tottenham-West Ham game was postponed to Thursday because apparently the London Police Department doesn't have enough people in their force to look over New Year's Eve and a Premier League game in the crap London Derby. So that was postponed to Thursday, so that means both those teams get a the Battle of the Hams, they get a full week break where everyone else got like a day. So kudos to them for somehow winning that lottery. So we're going to end off the episode with a little Champions League position power rankings. Obviously, number one is Manchester City, who actually saw their lead narrowed to 14 points, guys. It's narrowed to 14. Title race back on with Chelsea in second place. So 14 points above Chelsea and 15 above United. But the power rankings being Man City 1, Chelsea at numero 2, Liverpool number 3, and Tottenham, I'm putting in number 4, but they haven't really played in a while. But they look like a relatively decent number 4. And then the relegation lottery lack of power rankings. In dead last, we got Stoke City. I think they look like absolute garbage, and I think they're going down. And second to last, we have West Ham Sandwich, who I think are also going to go down because their stadium has zero atmosphere. They got a good manager, but all the other crap teams are actually not that crap this season. I actually think Swansea is going to actually make a little move up the table, surprisingly. But this is just this week's power rankings, of course. I don't know how it's going to end up. I could totally see West Ham getting out and Swansea dropping in, but whatever. And then third to last, we have West Brom, because West Brom is absolutely awful. They have no atmosphere at their stadium. I don't think they have any standout players. I think they're going down. Stoke City, West Brom, those are my 2 locks, with West Ham Sandwich. Possibly switching to Swansea, depending if, West Ham can actually use some of their quality and or keep Joe Hart out of net. So that's the end of Matchday 21. Can't wait to see you guys Matchday 22, where we probably see another Man City win, another United horrific draw, and another Hurricane hat trick as he decides to be superhuman in 2018 as well. Catch you guys in the flip.